Lenah,
about it.
have we beaten more than we can chew?
Personally, I'm I don't know if they called pragmatist.
Pragmatist.
Yes, I'm very pragmatic. So I look at the practical reality of where we are as a country.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that are, before making any budget, the government has to consider particular things. And these things are, number one, what are the needs of people?
Mm-hmm.
What are the needs of the common wananchi like you and me? What are the needs of a corporation? What are the needs of a corporation like Standard Media Group? What are the needs of an investor who would want to invest in Kenya? What are the needs of different stakeholders?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. And then they will look at, where are we at? What resources do we have? What can we be able to get? And then based on that, the government will sit down and say that we have looked at the needs, and looking at the needs and what we have, these are the priorities. So this is what we're going to allocate our funds on. This is probably going to put much money in the education sector to be able to make sure that our populace is literate and skilled to be able to, to be able to contribute to the development of our country. We're going to put healthcare into this, and these are going to put infrastructure and all that. That is what goes into the making of a budget. Now, when I look at our country, unfortunately, not just Kenya, but across Africa, our resources are constrained. We do not have big resources like the first world country. So we need to cut our losses in terms of our spending. Our current budget, our current revenue that we're looking to get from taxes and appropriation in aid, together with the grants and all that, amounts to 3.6 trillion. In that 3.6 trillion, our recurrent expenditure is 3.5 trillion. Now, you see, if to be honest, if we look at the difference is very minimal. It's almost like 100 billion or so, meaning that based on what we have right now, not with the debt and the borrowing, based on what we have right now, we only have 100 billion probably for our capital expenditure. I don't really blame this government only, in as much as there are things I have reservations with regards to how this government spends money, and not just this government but previous governments. Mm-hmm. But I'm also looking at what are the steps that have been taken by the current government to be able to cure this, first in terms of debt, development, and also in terms of spending. Because most of our budget goes into recurrent expenditure, there's the vulnerability of wrongful spending money when it's not necessary, wastage and all those kind of things.
Call it budgeted corruption.
Budgeted corruption, yes, there's that vulnerability. But I'm also looking at, in terms of development, what has it been able to do? And I applaud it for one of the things that it has come up, which the president calls the infrastructure development financing, which falls now under the National Infrastructure Fund. Because we have noticed that we cannot be able to build our country based on debt and based on the resources that we have. So what do? Can we look for an alternative way of trying to develop our country?
When you say when you say Kenya cannot develop its country based on the resources that it has, what does that mean?
It's simple, that we don't have the resources to develop our country. Enough resources. Look at what is our capital expenditure for this year. It's 800 billion. Mm-hmm. 800 billion is our capital expenditure. Mm-hmm. 800 billion for a country, and looking at the things that we want to do in terms of infrastructure, in terms of improving our energy, in terms of, even giving quality education to our children. This 800 billion is very minimal.
What has been done with the resources that are available to move that needle from this point to the next? Even with the little that is available, what has been done that you can actually see and say, yes, if we had more, then we would be able to do more? What has been done in the development? We're not talking about recurrent expenditure, yes, because that's just it's in and out, right? Mm-hmm. The developmental aspects of the economy, even in the baby steps that has been achieved with the revenue that is available, that you can point and see, yes, now what we need here to firm up the reasoning behind needing more resources. Just two.
I believe that in the last 3 years that this government has come into being, is that there has been an improvement in infrastructure.
Like?
In terms of our roads, in terms of our infrastructure, also in terms of our what do I call them? The word is evading me, but there has really been a lot of infrastructure in terms of, number one, roads. Then there has also been infrastructure in terms of even digital infrastructure that has been built by the government to be able to support the creative economy.